Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have G-Force. This is a rodent-centric action-adventure film. It is from 2009. It's an hour and 32 minutes long, and it is live action, but with CGI creatures in it. At first I thought maybe it was a fully CGI thing, but no, these are CGI creatures inserted into the real world. And this stars Zach Galifianakis in a somewhat supporting role. I mean, he's the guy behind these intelligent animals, working with him, hoping to become a special department of the FBI to do special missions with creatures like this that he can communicate with. Yes, it's kind of a Dr. Dolittle situation, but not exactly. They go through all the logistics of how this happens. So before you think that maybe Zach Galifianakis might be suffering from some sort of fever dream where he's like, I can talk to animals and I can send them on missions. And everything from guinea pigs. Yes, I'm sorry, I called them hamsters yesterday when this was picked. I had not seen the film, so I didn't know. I should have just looked at them and said, oh yeah, guinea pigs, but I was going from memory, just the name. So G-Force, guinea pig force. But they're not, by the way, there's a lot of identity issues in this. There's one hamster, believe it or not, that thinks he's a quarter ferret, or maybe he is. I don't know. It's a running gag throughout this. By the way, voiced by Steve Buscemi, the hamster. I'm going to get into this in a little bit, but this is a stacked cast. I mean, we'd already mentioned Zach Galifianakis as our human hero, the man who kind of oversees them and sends them on their missions, whether they're sanctioned or not. That is the problem. We get to see them in action from the very beginning, the G-Force, as they infiltrate a home. I'm guessing this is all filmed in LA. You can just tell by the look of it. But it's Bill Nighy. Bill Nighy is the man called Sabre. He runs a consumer electronics company, one of the biggest in the world, and they make coffee makers and fridges and microwaves and all sorts of things that you would find in your home. And this G-Force has to go in there and infiltrate them because they believe that he's doing something nefarious. What he's doing is something that technically is what we do, what we have all the time. Well, I mean, most modern appliances today, I go to CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, pretty much everything that LG and Samsung and just every major brand is putting out have connected Wi-Fi, like internet connected devices. And that's what Bill Nighy's character, Spectre, I believe. Yes, Spectre. Why can't I say Sabre? Sorry, Sabre. Spectre is the brand name on the monitor. Sabre, he's touting these machines that can talk to each other and connect and let you know when you're out of coffee, and then it'll connect to your grocery list and send an order to Amazon or Walmart or whatever, and have you, without saying that, they don't say those names, but they'll ship a new package or whatever full of coffee to your house automatically. So yeah, it's the nefarious scheme that the villain is putting out there is reality. Now, this is to say, by the way, this film, it's predictable to a certain point. When you're having G-Force guinea pig secret agents in this, that's not predictable. That is actually, I kind of scoffed at this at the beginning. I was like, this is going to be really dumb, isn't it? And yeah, it's not like the brightest film of the world, but it's not dumb. This is actually a pretty decent concept, and I think the attitude was that they were going to make this into a franchise. That this could have been a franchise vehicle for like the whole cast. Like you could just bring them back over and over again. But I don't think it did well. I don't think it. I don't know if it did well with rating, with reviews and people going to see it. Even though it is a Disney film, I guess it just didn't do well. Maybe it did well in video. Maybe people are watching Disney Plus. I have no idea. But there's a lot of stuff going for it. There is a certain unpredictability. There's twists and turns throughout the story that seem like, oh, hey, this is messing with your expectations. Others seem like they're course correcting for script purposes and to retain certain actors, possibly. I don't know, because it lands kind of soft, and again, it's a children's film, it's a kids' film, so hey, death. There's not a whole lot of death. There's injuring. There's distress. There's mayhem. There's destruction, and honestly, we do get a MCU level of big bad conflict, villainy, and just craziness happening in the final act for sure. This is something you could literally see. This came out a year after Iron Man, but you could literally see. It feels like there was influences from this film. I know they couldn't have just said, "Hey, let's add these things to the film," because it had to have already been in the can by the time Iron Man came out, or at least close to it. They could have tweaked some things, but I can't imagine they would have tweaked too much. CGI wise and stuff like that. But it's a big finale. It's a big boss battle, let's just say. If we're thinking about this as a video game, which it has certain elements of a video game, I could see a video game being made out of this, where you just control little hamsters guinea pigs, and have them ride around in little gadget, and there's a special gadget mobile, which I'm surprised isn't. I've seen it in some of the other promo images. It's like, how like a hamster ball or a guinea pig ball. Well, imagine that mechanized and turned into a super fast weapon. Oh, and I mentioned Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, as a kind of possible template. Well, not necessarily, but not fully, but it's got some connections actor-wise. There's a character in this. By the way, if you look at IMDb, a ton of the actors that do the voices are buried. You have to, if you look at it on the website, you have to look at the all cast and crew to see all the names. They give you the rundown at the end of the film, in case you didn't know who was in this thing. They show the character, the guinea pig or the mole or whatever else. They show you the character, and then they put the name of the actor next to them. And some of them, if you did not look ahead, you'd be like, "What the heck? What? How in the world was that actor in this film?" Jon Favreau and why can't I say his name? And he's probably not right up there at the top. Sam, come on, where are you? Sam, I gotta scroll so far to find it. Sam Rockwell. I don't know why I couldn't say Sam Rockwell. The guy's in Iron Man 2. Yeah, well, I mean, Jon Favreau directed the film, and he's also Happy Hogan. But Sam Rockwell is Hammer, and he's the villain in Iron Man 2. So yeah, I wonder if that's how Sam got the job. I don't know. Like I said, Steve Buscemi's in this as a hamster. Tracy Morgan, Penelope Cruz, fill out the rest of the main team of guinea pigs in G-Force. Penelope Cruz, Tracy Morgan, of course, being very Tracy Morgan in any of his line delivery, even if this stuff, I realize, they write sometimes for the actor, and sometimes the actor might be able to ad-lib and change things, but these are CGI characters, so I imagine they could have formed the mouth movements for whatever Tracy says, because some of this sounds very Tracy. The character seems I can't imagine this a character to be embodied by anybody else. He's just this wacky chaos kind of creature, and he's fantastic. And Penelope Cruz is not the girly girl guinea pig, but she's tough, she's capable, and she's playing everybody against each other half the time when it comes to romance, guinea pig romance. Yes, there's a little bit of that, tiny bit, but she is a femme fatale in this in guinea pig form. So yeah, we get a bunch of different things. Of course, Dee Bradley Baker shows up as the voice of a fly, Mooch, their eye in the sky. But I have to tell you, the biggest surprise in this, voice-wise, is the mole. If you don't want to know who, and you want to see if you can figure it out yourself, I would just skip over this next part. I'm going to even block my mouth, and I'll count it down, and I'm going to try not to say that person's name again throughout the rest of this video, assuming you will even watch this far. But the fact that this person appears in this film with this voice, I would not have picked it out if I had not read the credit. And then the credit, anyway, doesn't matter. Nicolas Cage is Squeakers the mole. So yeah, I should have told you to mute it. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, that person plays the voice of the mole, and they don't even just stick with their own voice. They do a character. They do a very interesting character. So actor-wise, this is stacked. This is just, there's lots of actors pretty much cashing a paycheck for the most part, I think. I don't think any of them were going to go into this and going, you know what, this is a passion project of mine. No, it's not going to happen. So Will Arnett also appears in this as well. Arrested Development and just about everything else. He's the Lego Batman, of course. So yeah, I didn't want to pass by without saying anything about him as well. Niecy Nash also is in this, Reno 911, and so many other things. So yeah, anyway, there's a lot of character actors in this that you'll recognize. They're just crazy. There's a car chase in this that involves guinea pigs. A car chase, yeah. So it does some things that are unexpected, but the main structure of this, you kind of know how it's going to go. It's not too surprising when certain reveals are made, if you know that it's a Disney film kind of thing. And it's fun. It's actually exciting. I can't say I love the film, but if a kid, like I said, I want to watch G-Force, you know what? I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say, that sucks. I don't know if I'd say that to a kid anyway, but it's a pretty solid it's a pretty solid action film for kids. I didn't think I'd be saying this at all. But yeah, a lot of the humans, for the most part, are walking through their roles. Zach Galifianakis, who had, basically been brought to fame through the Hangover movies and everything else, and he's, done all of his craziness. He's not funny in this. He's not supposed to be. He's not a comedic character. He has a few little zingers here and there, a few little lines that are funny, but he plays it straight in this. Then he has an assistant who is pretty much blonde girl. Like, I think they may have said her name once or twice. I think it's Marcy. But I think she's functional. I think she performs a function in the story, and she's not a fully formed character in any way. Zach Galifianakis is barely a fully formed character, except when he's interacting with with Will Arnett, the FBI agent he's supposed to be reporting to, and also the guinea pigs. So, and Will Arnett, of course, is just the stern. He's also not funny. He's a serious character. So there's certain dramatic elements that I was surprised at this, that it went more dramatic. But again, it's not dark dramatic. It's just, he's raising these animals to work in secret missions. And then when he shows it off to the FBI agents, Will Arnett and his minions, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to have to shut this down. Of course they're going to have to shut this down. They're going to have to go rogue. Okay, the animals have to escape, and they end up in a pet store, and they meet other animals, and then they all communicate with each other. And then you realize that at some point, they may have written themselves into a corner, and they created a certain scene that I feel like had to be inserted later. I don't know. Because the storyline in this is that Zach Galifianakis' character, I can't remember his name, Ben told the guinea pigs they were all genetically engineered and everything else. Well, turns out they're nothing special. Turns out we could talk to these creatures the whole time as long as you have the right technology. And they're smart. So that's a little spoiler there, but I have a feeling that because you're like, suddenly, oh, they're genetically engineered characters, and now they're in a pet store with other animals and hamsters and everything else that can do the same exact thing. They can all communicate amongst each other. Are these special or not? And, well, they can talk to each other, of course. They can communicate, but they all have human attributes and stuff like that. I don't know. So I think they kind of covered their butts with a certain scene somewhere in the middle of the film where Ben explains to them who they really are. And it's the how do we deal with this kind of moment. And then they bounce back from it, and they got to save the world from something that honestly could have appeared in an Iron Man film and technically appeared in an Avengers film later on, sort of. But not with coffee makers and microwave ovens. So, but yeah, it's a pretty ambitious scheme. Whether it makes a whole lot of sense, I don't know. But yeah, it makes for some good fun, and I can't believe I've talked 17 minutes about this movie. I'm sorry. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 97. 97. Oh wow, man! This one is surrounded top to bottom with documentaries, but this is a movie. In fact, I think it's a classic movie. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one of the classic ones. It's one of the only versions we have not seen. We've seen the sequels. We've seen the remakes that are sort of sequels, but this might be the original. I can't remember, but we're going to find out tomorrow when we watch Escape to Witch Mountain. Yeah. If it's a classic, I think, I don't think it's the one with The Rock. I mean, we've seen one with The Rock already, but I think Escape to Witch Mountain is the first one. I could be wrong. But we'll find out. Escape to Witch Mountain on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.